Minimum battle runs. Runs that force you to min-max, scrape by with the bare minimum, and strategize. Or so I thought. Welcome to Pokemon Y Minimum Battles, the most boring challenge run in Pokemon history. Let's go over the rules. No optional fight. If we enter a battle that is not 100% mandatory, we must flee turn 1 or reset if that is impossible. Battle only counts if we gain something from it, be it EXP, items, or money. Story progression counts as gaining something, so no, we are not going to be losing battles. We do not need to win to proceed in order to decrease our battle count. I feel that it is against the spirit of things and am omitting that option. No sources of renewable EXP, no forms of renewable rare candies, no daycare grind, nothing like that. The run ends when we see credits, not when we become champion and enter the Hall of Fame. This is a vital distinction that will become relevant later on. No items from the bag in battle. We can use health items, but we can't use potions, revives, and so on during fights. No Pokemon to meet. The mechanics are overpowered and duck-based, not conducted to a good challenge run. Not that Kalos itself is conducted to a good challenge run, but we'll get there. No version exclusive content, if only so I don't have to redo this run in X. This boils down to no Mega Charizard and no Weavile. Let's just get this over with, because this run was not interesting as one would hope. I just want this video done, man. So this was done across 6 streams. Technically I did 7 streams, but the first one has only failed attempts at the first gym, so it's not relevant. Well, that's not entirely true. It disproves 2 of the possible starter choices. See, the first gym leader has 2 Pokemon, Surskit and Pavilion. Fennekin can't solo her because Surskit has Water Gun, and Froakie can't solo because it lacks the damage to do so. If only had some means of accessing some form of rock type move. What's that? Chespin gets rollout at level 8, which is mandatory trainers get us to before the gym? Well, bada bing! You know, this is actually a very clever bit of game design from Game Freak, and I want to point it out. Every starter has some tool to handle Viola and her bugs. Despite being weak to Surskit, Fennekin's fire can still deal good damage, and it can get by a potion or 2. Froakie's resistance to Surskit and ability to hit Pavilion for neutral damage take to the possible choice with an edge. Chespin has nothing, not without rollout, so they give it rollout. Better still, rollout totally fits Chespin's design and aesthetic. It's not forced or shoehorned in, it fits perfectly. Game Freak subtly gives every player a tool to handle their gym without making it free. This is genuinely smart game design that leaves the starter choice impactful as each starter faces unique challenges with this gym. Boy, I sure hope that this will continue throughout the game. Did you know that dramatic irony is a narrative device? Anyways, we sweep Viola with rollout, rolling the Chespin rolls on into victory. This also occurs in our next battle against Sycamore, which grants us a second Pokemon, Nostalgia Bait the Charmander. I call it how I see it, man. Now before we proceed to Route 5, we have to drop off in the stat bat, Nostalgia Bait in the PC. Why? On our way, we meet Mr. Bonding, who gives us O-Power. They're considered banned, but the reason we drop off Charmander after running the Mr. Bonding is because there's a double paddle, and by only having 1 Pokemon in our party, we can bypass it. We've only done 7 battles so far, and I want to keep it that way. Unfortunately, we get jumped right here and over this Corphish. Good thing we had to pick the grass starter anyways, huh? Carrying on, we return Nostalgia Bait to the squad so we can start getting levels properly. Next up is picking up the Pokeflute to wake up the Snorlax. This needs no battles. We can sneak past everyone on the way and flee from the Snorlax to get the Amulet Coin in the big manor as well, which is mostly just a convenience item. We don't necessarily need it. Next battle is a tricky double battle, but we handle it by having Roland rush down Corphish to turn the battle into a 2v1 against Trevor. There's no other mandatory battles, so we grab the Rock Smash TM and head into Glittering Cave, which this is such a cool area. I would love Pokemon to do more of this, but as far as I'm aware, this is the only one of its kind. And here we do our next 3 battles against Team Flare Grudge. Rollout makes quick work of them. Roland evolves, giving him a massive boost. Some battles do take an extra try or 2, but it's nothing major. And then we Rock Smash. A lot. We farm for about an hour for a certain very helpful item known as Old Amber. Of the 2 fossils we choose, we select Draw Fossil for Chomp since we get a different ice type later in the run. After finally getting all 3 of the Old Amber we need as well, we go and revive them along with the Draw Fossil. This has Chomp's the Tyrant, and Taro, Necro, and Undead the Aerodactyls to our team. We won't be keeping all 3 of them long term, but the extras help a lot until we get more of our permanent additions. With that, we reach the end of our first stream after a couple of failed attempts at the second gym leader, Grant. Yes, we end stream with 3 fucking Aerodactyls on our team, that's half our squad. It's fine, don't worry about it. There's no battles in the gym, so we reach Grant right away, but unfortunately again, I had to end stream here because I got stuck on him. At this point, I had completed 12 fights in total. The second stream begins with a battle against Grant, which is a fairly tricky fight. Turns out, refrigerate takedown, making move ice, can really mess you up. Maybe a Moral would have been more useful. Regardless, we do not give up. Moral can be taken out with 2 rock slashes from Aerodactyl, which can be easily landed by letting Undead feign. Terror goes out next and uses Scary Face to decrease Tyrant's speed before he goes down as well. Our own Tyrant, Chomps, comes out and uses Charm to plummet the attack of the enemy Tyrant, setting up finally for Roland to come in and wear it down with Leech Seed and Vine Whip, leading us to victory. After that, not much of interest happens. We are so underleveled, repels don't work, so that's kinda funny. We have a couple battles against Team Flare Grunts, and then we get jumped. Karina attacks us with 2 Lucarios. Let's go on her fucking dogs just mug us. This seems like a bit of a doozy, especially with us having so many rock Pokemon and Lucario being fighting type, but we can handle it. Luckily, Nostalgia Beta Ball evolved and got Dragon Rage recently. We can wear down the first Lucario with Rock Slashes from our Aerodactyls before finishing off the second Lucario via dropping its speed with Scary Face, more damage from Rock Slash, and a nice and clean Dragon Rage finisher. Mirror Cave proposes a couple interesting issues, being us having to leave in the pause of most of our team due to a double battle near the end that we can skip by doing so, and Wild Wobbuffet that we can't flee from due to their ability Shadow Tag. Repels don't help either, so this forces us to load a few saves. There's a mandatory Ace trainer here that serves almost as a mini boss. It's a fun fight, but nothing our team can't handle at this point. She had a Gramble that's a little scary near the end, and Undead as a sacrificial lamb, but it's not a huge issue. The inability to use Dragon Rage is an issue. We can debuff its attack enough to get us by though. Finally, we arrive at the next town and the Mega Evolution Guru. Here we battle our rival. Meowstic goes down to a couple bites. Bracken is the same fate with Rock Tomb. Absol is ruined by Scary Face and Charm after Terror goes down, and we wear it down a bit with Rock Smashes. That's another one, and we're on to the next gym. The Funny Gym is full of mandatory trainers. None are super hard. We do make a lengthy detour to get Aerial Ace, however. Some take a couple tries, but nothing is dire and we're off to face Karina. Aerial Ace destroys our first 2 Pokemon, but Lucha is dangerous. A Scary Face, however, sends his speed into the dirt. This is followed by a couple growls from Nostalgia Bait. Finally allows Undead to come in and land some Rock Slashes to drop defense before Necro finishes the job. We all know about the Mega Evolution battle, after which we get a free Mega Lucario we name Aura Farmer. This is the worst stroke I've ever made. I'm gonna go off script the second to mention, no, you cannot skip this battle. I did attempt to do so. It cannot be done. We also get a free Lapras, which we add to our team, keeping Necro as our main Aerodactyl. After naming our Lapras Seafoam, our team is complete, and so is the stream, having done 25 battles in total. Next stream is where this run ceases to be fun. First off, we do a bit of a grind via super training and walking around in circles to max friendship on Roland and the attack and speed EVs on Lucario. We then give Aura Farmer the Lucky Egg, and the game's over. We battle our rival, who is an easy sweep through Lucario, and the gym, after some careful navigation and double check for any means of skipping trainers we missed, isn't very hard. We give Lucario Shadow Claw and move on, right to the power plant. This area is kind of annoying both casually and for this run due to the fact some wild Pokemon here have Arena Trap and Repels don't work here. Bit of a problem to say the least. There's some finagling. We finally reach the power plant where we fight 10 Team Flare Grunts in a fucking row, consecutively. Lucario with the Lucky Egg rapidly accelerates in power and is then, after loading a save due to getting a question wrong, able to sweep the 5th gym. Aura Farmer being over-leveled and sweeping will rapidly become a recurring theme. With 46 battles completed, yes, we fought Team Flare that much. By the end of the stream, we move on to the next. The journey to the 6th gym has us face a rival again. Afterwards, I redo my trainer customization to create a really cute outfit I'm proud of. The 6th gym leader isn't much issue. We then sneak our way through the Pokeball factory best we can and win a couple easy battles before getting a Master Ball. There's literally only one more wild Pokemon we will encounter in this run, by the way. We walk a lot more and enter the Frost Cavern to defeat Team Flare yet again. Let's make a verbal detour from this in-game detour. You may be wondering why I'm using Lucky Egg instead of, Mega Lucario. It's because we don't need Mega Lucario. If we don't need the short-term power boost, it's far better to plan for long-term strength via level up, even if it's apparently a bit of an overcorrection in this game to say the least. Another rival fight, more free levels, and Gym 7 has a fair number of mandatory trainers. Lord knows I tried to dodge them. No dice. At least this gym looks sick as hell, and our entire team aside from Trumps is fully evolved by now. Oh boy, would you look at the time! It's time to bully Team Flare! As we enter, we are finally given our first interesting battle in a long time. The one known as Lysander. Not to be confused with Lysander Off. Okay, let's not hype him up too much. We give Orofarmer Protect because high jump kick from his Min Fu. I don't think he evolves it yet. I might be misremembering that. I didn't write that detail in the script. I just don't really care enough to double check because this fight is still fairly easy. But high jump kick water rise messes us up. This allows us to take out Menfu. Oh, I did write it. I should have read ahead. With a power up punch after recoil. We take it out with power up punch after it takes out recoil damage. Because, high jump kick does that if it misses. And protect counts as it missing. Really useful mechanic that might help you someday. Pyroar meets the same fate, but unfortunately we have no good moves for Gyarados. Okay, let's try something else. We open with Nostalgia Bait with Fly, which allows us to nearly one-tap Menfu before finishing off with Flame Burst. Gyarados emerges next, so we use Growl to weaken it, dodge an Aqua Tail, and not looking to give Torch in the mouth, bring him Roland. Spiky Shield, Leech Seed, and Seed Bomb wear down the False Dragon, but Roland is taken out by the devious Murkrow. Nothing Orofarmer can't finish off with some power-up punches. We had to actually use... My god! Other Pokemon? I could probably have min-max EXP a little better, but who cares at this point? Is there any other interesting fights here? Not really. Just some careful maneuvering, double checking the speed run to see which trainers are actually mandatory or not. I almost find an adamant we don't actually have to fight and have to reload before we're ready to swap the ultimate weapon with 66 battles on at the end of the stream. Also, you may have noticed, yes, I left the mistake from the last section because I thought that it would be funnier rather than reading it dry. This run is so dry. We need a little levity somehow, especially if I'm not going to bother putting in memes. Moving on to Stream 5. We do so during the next stream where we fight Lysander again. This fight is honestly only hard because Gyarados coming out before we have a good chance to set up. Could you imagine if Gyarados lost his flying type and came out last? God, what a free fight that would be. This goes same as before, Protect and the Power Up Punch against Man Shao. Power goes down easily, bring in Nostalgia Bait, Growl Gyarados after dodging its Earthquake. We sacrifice him to get off 2 attack drops. Roland comes in and hits the oversized False Dragon with Leech Seed and Spiky Shield combo. Honchkrow is easily defeated by Orofarmer and we win. We then battle Team Flare. A lot. Are any of these battles interesting? No. I think about half the fights in this run are Team Flare. After many encounters with them, we finally reach it. Yveltal. At first I tried not to use my Master Ball for the funny, but then I realized there's literally no other wild encounters, so I may as well. We capture the bird, and since I want to show you can beat both X and Y this way, I throw him right in the fucking trash. And Lysander fight yet again. Another case of Protect and the Power Up Punch, but now Gyarados isn't here to stop us, nor is immune to Bone Club. Plus, its Mega Form is weak to Power Up Punch due to being a Dark type. This is the first time we fight a Mega, and the reality of the matter is that Mega Evolving left Gyarados Giga nerfed in this specific context. God, that's funny. So what's next? Very little. We battle Sycamore and the starters, which isn't very interesting. We then reach the bridge. You may wonder why I call it the bridge. It's because we have 3 kinda tricky fights here in a row. At least the first time, but I accidentally run into an optional trainer and have to reload. The second time is much more optimal. During this second run, we set up on Delcatty and Sweep Shauna. Next up is Tierno. 1 Sword Stance would have been enough for Talonflame's Flame Body. Luckily, Tierno misses his chance and his other Pokemon go down quickly to Power Up Punch and Shadow Claw. To fill the dead air for a second, it's a genuine tragedy that Tierno was introduced right before Oricorio. Imagine if Tierno fought you 4 times throughout the game and he always had an Oricorio as his ace, and each time you fought him it was a different form. It would have been fucking sick, dude. What a shame. Trevor is a clean sweep after a Bone Club and set up on Florges. We sneak our way into to the Pokemon village to meet Wolfric. No battles needed between here and there, and headed for his gym. In his gym, we get confused right to death, and I want Ore Farmer to get the XP, so I load a save that sets us back to the start of the gym. Damn it. That's 81 battles at the end of this stream, and the next is the last. With slightly better luck, none of the ice gym is hard. Free XP all around. I like this gym aesthetic wise, but the puzzle movements are slow as hell when all the trainers are mandatory. Having the option to skip trainers in the gym should reward the player for playing the puzzle smart. That way, 1, it's a choice, 2, less clever players will probably need the extra XP. Do more fights to get extra XP. 3, it lets you feel clever. Having a slow and annoying puzzle with mandatory trainers is the worst of both worlds. Victory Road has a small handful of optional mandatory trainers, and the final battle with our rifle. Are any of them hard or noteworthy? Not really. So let's move on. The Elite Four, the strongest trainers in Kalos. Our journey nears its end. This is it. Let's begin. Our first opponent, Wingstrom, a steel user who is of no major issue. Worst Clef's Torment mildly inconveniences us, but there is nothing else of note in this battle. Our next opponent isn't any better. Dranasa, is that how you say that? I don't actually know. The Dragon Master is not as dangerous as one would expect. A classic swords dance in the sweep. Who's next? Who's the freest fight here? I'm sure Seabold the water use won't be that hard, right? Oh boy. This takes many tries. Lucario can't really sweep as due to Corta's Aura Spear hitting insanely hard, not enough to one-shot effectively, but enough to two-shot. A Swords Dance into return destroys it. Surely we can see from here and oh god, is that a Gyarados? Not again! It's okay, because Roland can stall it out with Leech Seed and Spiky Shield for a while before having Seafoam finish the job. Roland then comes back in against Barbarnacle, which gets one-shot by Seed Bomb. Starmie is his last Pokemon, and there is a little Roland can do, so he must be sacrificed. Knuckle comes in next, and due to the massive level gap goes on to Surf. None of our team can stand up to Starmie actually. We need to try something else. It takes a couple more tries, but I find the path. Giving Protect to most of our Pokemon, we enter the fray with Sibold one final time. We don't end up using Protect on most of them, but we forget Perish Song on Seafoam, which will mildly inconvenience us later. We open with Roland, who uses Leech Seed, and then Spiky Shield, then Seed Bomb, which is just barely enough to leave Collister alive. Sibold heals, allowing us to use Swords Dance for Farmer. This followed by a second Swords Dance to Sukaru just barely survives one Order Spear, and from there to Clean Sweep. One more member, Malva. Do I have to say it? Order Farmer Clean Sweeps our first try after taking a Flamethrower. We actually put the Lucario eye on Lucario here, but I don't use it yet. At this point I was so bored I wanted to save Mega Lucario for something else. Finally we approach the final boss, or at least the hardest boss, allegedly. The end of our journey. Diantha. This is it. One last fight. Or is it? Don't worry about it. She opens with Falucha. Orb Farmer lives up to his name as he uses Swords Dance Falls by return to take it out. Next up is Gudra, who also goes down to return. Tyrantrum is our third Pokemon and is another easy KO. Aurorus is next and is another easy KO. Unfortunately, due to some bad luck with Bone Rush, Lucario is taken out by Gourgeist. This means Nostalgia has to come in and clean up. Finally, our strongest opponent emerges, Mega Gardevoir. Knowing Diantha can't remove debuffs and Nostalgia cannot solo it, we use two smoke screens. Next we bring in Seafoam, who sadly no longer has Parasong, gets taken out by two Thunderbolts and Paralysis without even doing anything. Necro, however, decides it's time to stop sandbagging and Mega Evolves, biting and flinching Gardevoir into oblivion, bringing us the win. First try, and it was only hard due to bad RNG, and the fact that they didn't replace Bone Rush or Shadow Claw to handle Gourgeist. We are now champion. At least this fight wasn't boring as fuck, but our journey isn't quite over. We have one final opponent. For the funny, I saved Mega Lucario for this moment. AZ challenges us. Orphan Mega Evolves and misses the KO of Bone Club and gets burned, completely crippling him. Are you fucking kidding me? What an anticlimax. Whatever, it takes out Torkoal next turn, but is defeated by Sigilyph. Charm Sensors the fray and hits hard enough to finish off the Unova bird. Is Sigilyph even a bird, or is it like something else entirely? What is Sigilyph? It's cool. I like it. I guess that's all we really care about. Golurk is our final foe. A single Dragon Claw isn't enough, and Phantom Force ignores Protect. Didn't know that. So we end it as it began. Roland enters the fray. uses Seed Bomb, and defeats Golurk. With 99 battles in total, yes, it took exactly 99 battles, victory is ours. Then the credits roll and our journey ends. But how did we do in all this? Was this run fun? Challenging? Was it worth doing? Hell no, this run was boring, tedious, and had until like 5 interesting fights. I didn't even bother putting in many of my usual memes and interludes because they weren't worth doing. There was nothing to say. The only good meme idea I had, the only good joke that I could think to do was to edit the 8 fucking bears meme, but it's 3 fucking Aerodactyls. The thing is that I didn't bother doing so because, like, 1, I couldn't figure out a good way to edit the text on the card, and 2, we keep those Aerodactyls for like all of 5 fights-ish. It's not worth the bit. The second we got Lucario and the Lucky Egg, this entire run fell apart. So don't even let anyone tell you this game isn't the easiest in the series, because it clearly is. This was a genuinely boring run. It was only done for the sake of my goal of covering every game in the series with this challenge. At least we prove it can be done for both X and Y by only using shit that's in both versions. You can be pedantic and say, but don't you fight Xerneas instead in X and rather than Y Veltal? Master Ball or Quick Ball until you get lucky, so has no notable effect. So yeah. I just want this video done to move on from this, man. It was so boring and easy. Literally just done for the sake of having it done. Next up is Pokemon Sun, and Lord knows that should be fun. I will see you then, and I will be streaming it, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see that. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. Remember to be kind to each other.